Today's Edison deck profile, Disaster Dragon. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are deck profiling Disaster Dragon from Edison format. Now there's a lot of different builds that you can do for this. One I actually featured on the channel prior with the Blue Eyes engine, but this one cuts that out and kind of goes at a different way with this deck. So let's go ahead and dive on in. Alright guys, so kicking off the deck, we got the big baddie himself. We have 3 copies of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Obviously he's our big boss monster. He's able to bring back dragons from the graveyard or bring them out from the hand. And all you gotta do is just banish 1 dragon to special summon him. So, pretty solid recursion we got going on here. So he's gonna be our big boss monster, the big guy that we want to see the most in this deck. Moving on, we have 3 copies of Red Eyes Wyvern to help cheese out that Red Eyes Darkness Metal a little bit quicker. So 3 copies of Red Eyes Wyvern, followed by 3 copies of Quacky Miru Drago. Now he is one that pretty much shuts down decks like Blackwing or Lightsworn. He makes it so neither player can special summon light or dark monsters. So if you got Red Eyes Darkness Metal out, special summon Drago from your hand or from the graveyard. Yeah, it makes it a little bit tougher for your opponent to really capitalize on that if they're playing something that's going to be light or dark heavy. So 3 copies of Drago, followed by 3 copies of Mass Dragon, solid recruiter for dragon decks. Also quite the classic monster as well, from good old Soul of the Duelist. So we got 3 copies of him in here, followed by 2 copies of Exploder Dragon, followed by 2 copies of Totem Dragon, who actually just got re-released in the new Speed Duel set, so he's a lot more obtainable as opposed to his first one in Crimson Crisis. So we're running 2 copies of him, followed by 1 copy of Debris Dragon, a solid target for Mass Dragon. And then our 2 big tribute monsters. We have White Knight Dragon, very solid for negation, and of course Light and Darkness Dragon, who again, very good for negation. So those are going to be our 2 big dragon guys next to Darkness Metal to round out the monsters in this deck. So moving on to our spells. The big bad card himself, we have 1 copy of Future Fusion in here to help get out the 5-headed dragon. But basically it's just a glorified painful choice for dragons to dump 5 dragons to the graveyard, which is absolutely bonkers to me. So we got 1 copy of that in here, followed by 3 copies of Book of Moon, just solid protection. So 3 copies of that, followed by 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. Since we don't have that draw engine of Blue Eyes like we had before with the trade-ins, Cards of Consonance, White Stone of Legend, and our 3 Blue Eyes, we're still running 3 Upstart Goblin. I mean, this deck can really OTK, so our opponent gain a little extra life points isn't too much in trade-off for 1 draw from our deck. So we got 3 copies of that in here, followed by 2 copies of Gold Sarcophagus. Help kind of search out Red MD a little bit quicker. Followed by Giant Trunade, which we do layered on in our extra deck. We run 2 copies of 5-headed dragon, just in case we're in a bind and we need to Giant Trunade back our Future Fusion. Then we have 1 copy of Heavy Storm. Help kind of, yeah, you know, eviscerate our opponent. Really clear out that background. Get him with that OTK. So 1 copy of Heavy Storm, then 1 copy of MST as well too, to round out the spells and, yeah, the destruction of our opponent. Next up, we have our traps. So we got 2 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole, followed by a copy of Mirror Force, a copy of Call the Haunted, since we do have a pretty solid amount of dragons we can bring up back and just banish them off. 4 darkness metal. Get them out a little bit quicker. But, so yeah, we do have 1 copy of Call the Haunted in here. Followed by 1 copy of Trap Dust Shoot, since hand knowledge is pretty much the best knowledge you could possibly have in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think if you get off a Trap Dust Shoot against your opponent turn 1, you pretty much win the duel, unless your hand is that bad. But being able to know what your opponent has in their hand and what they might be setting gives you a big plus in a duel. So 1 copy of Trap Dust Shoot, followed by our 1 copy of Torrential Tribute, our 1 copy of Starlight Road to cheese out a Stardust Dragon a little bit quicker, especially if our opponent's playing Heavy Storm, and if they see that we got a face down plus Future Fusion on the field, that can help protect our Future Fusion, and we can get a Stardust a little bit quicker, and gives us the benefit of having Stardust effect on the field to protect everything else. Then, of course, we have a Solemn Judgment as well, just to pretty much say no to anything our opponent's going to do. And then we run 1 copy of Royal Oppression, since this deck does play pretty well under it. Moving over to our extra deck, which is something that we don't access too often besides Future Fusion or even Starlight Road. On the off chance that, you know, we get something from a creature swap, or we do have Debris Dragon that's just going to go into a Stardust anyways. But yeah, off chance we do get a creature swap or some kind of shenanigans happen, at least we have some backup that we can go into different things. So we have 1 copy of the Trident Dragion. I believe that's how you say that. Dragion. So we got 1 copy of him in here. We have our 2 copies of Stardust. Pretty much 1 for Debris, 1 for Starlight Road. That's the way I kind of look at it. Then we have our Colossal Fighter, our pretty much generic, you know, Edison format extra deck. Black Rose Dragon. We have our Brio, our Thought Ruler Archfiend, our Iron Chain Dragon, our Magical Android, our Goyo, since he is just so good. And of course we got a Dark End in here, because, yeah, he's a dragon, and I mean, you see Plague Spreader and Gale so much just in Edison format. I mean, if we do get creature swapped or some kind of shenanigans happen, at least we'll have, you know, solid little dragon to bring up. Then, of course, we have Red Dragon Archfiend, Ally of Justice Catastor, and then the big guy that puts this whole deck together. We are running 2 copies of 5-headed dragon, just in case, you know, our Future Fusion does get true made. So, hey, you never know what might happen out there when you're in that competitive field, right? Alright guys, so there you have it. That is Disaster Dragon for Edison format. At least that version of it, because like I said, there are a bunch of different versions of it. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to see future deck profiles. And comment down below, what do you guys think? What's your preferred version of Disaster Dragons, or just Dragons, or Hopeless Dragons, or any other kind of name for dragons might have you. So be sure to comment down below, let me know what you guys think about this, and if you guys would play this as well too. Be sure, of course, to check out the links down below. Check out rpkgaming.com. Be sure to use that TCG player link down below as well too. Helps out the channel more than you could possibly know. We will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye, mwah, and good night.